it bums me out when I see all the negative comments about him online. People just being brutal about his voice and the way he acts and stuff. And I mean, Dave is legendary and is such an instrumental part of Van Halen. I've gone on record to say I don't think they would have been the band they are without Dave.
Today's guest is a true icon of melodic and Christian rock, Michael Sweet of STRYPER. The band are wrapping up their 40th anniversary in style and just released a brand new holiday album called The Greatest Gift of All. Michael, how are you today?
I'm good, man. Every interview is starting to look the same because I always wear this cap and these glasses, the same background. I got to switch it up a little bit. I'll try to do that next time. But I'm doing good, man. It's been a blur the past few months. I've been very busy, a lot of traveling. And I'm home, finally. Feels good.
That's great. So you guys were out on the road for most of this year on the 40th anniversary run. It's like a huge milestone for every band. So any particular moments stand out for you? Any shows, any festivals, anything like that? What are your highlights?
Well, I mean, yeah, basically 2024 was our 40-year anniversary year. And we toured a lot that year. We did an acoustic tour and we did an electric tour. And it was extensive. We did a lot. And but it's such a blur. It's like that's almost, we're going on 2 years behind us now. So it's kind of crazy to say that. Here we are stepping into 2026. So we're getting ready to celebrate 42 years. And if you go back to when we first formed, it was actually in '83. So really, it's 43, going on 43 years. Kind of mind-boggling. Before I know it, we'll be celebrating 50. It's crazy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you guys, listen, a lot of bands, they make it to these milestones. But, the one thing about STRYPER, you guys have you've stayed intact and you've always had a unity and purpose amongst that brotherhood. I mean, why is that? Why has that brotherhood been so strong all these years?
Well, I mean, just being totally honest, it hasn't. And what I mean by that is we do have a brotherhood, and obviously my brother is the drummer. So there's literally, we're literally biologically connected. But Oz is like a brother, but we're like everyone else. I mean, we have feuds, we have disagreements, we get in fights, we get in disagreements that cause separation. Like anybody else. But the difference between maybe us and other people is we always talk about it. We always talk it through. We always work out our differences, and we try to do so in a responsible way. And, from a biblical point of view, we always try to do that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, Michael, you've been very candid about some of your personal health issues that are ongoing. Oz Fox has his challenges. How are you guys doing, and how have you held up through these touring years and that kind of thing? What are things like now for both of you guys?
Well, I mean, just speaking from myself, I'm still wearing the Band-Aid from yesterday. I can hardly move my neck. I had a biopsy done, and it's not that big a deal, but your neck's pretty sore afterwards. I'm waiting to get the results. I mean, I had thyroid cancer. They removed my left side, left my right side in, and it had a nodule at the time that wasn't suspicious, but now it is because there's some calcification and changes going on. Man, if you were to ask me 35, 40 years ago, what are the two things that you would not want to face? And I would tell you anything with my eyes and anything with my voice. And I'm facing both of those. Why? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think God's sitting up there saying, all right, I'm going to do this to him. And that. I don't think God has anything to do with that. I think it's just life. And we all face things, and we're all going through stuff. But, I'm trying to do it with a smile and just be proactive, stay on top of it, and pray for many more years here on earth so I can continue doing what I'm called to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I love your positive spirit and your positive vibes, and we'll continue rooting you on. So, Michael,
And Oz
last
is doing great, by the way. Oz is doing really good. Sorry, I didn't
that's
mention.
no, that's fantastic to hear. I mean, just wrapping up, let's say the 40th anniversary topic. I mean, how is it? You start to see new generations coming to these shows, that kind of thing. You see kids and grandkids, like you see other stuff like that coming down.
Oh yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's. I'm not talking about just looking out in the crowd and seeing one teenager.
Yeah.
I'm talking about looking out in the crowd and seeing like half of the room filled with teenagers. That's what's really wild. A lot of young kids coming to our shows lately. I don't know why, other than their parents trained them well, raised, raised them well. I don't know. But they're wearing old vintage striper shirts and they're singing along to every song. And I'm talking, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And it's mind blowing. It really is.
There's a new eBay commercial out there. And the end of the eBay commercial, this guy's sitting in a diner by himself and he clicks on his phone and he wins the bid for this vintage 1987 Megadeth t-shirt. I think you got to get on something like that, get the exposure of the band out there.
You know what? I agree. And we're making vintage looking shirts now that have that look and replicas of some of the old shirts. But there's nothing like the real deal, and finding an old original 84 yellow and black or 85 soldier shirt. There's nothing like that. It's just really cool.
I have my first concert shirt I bought in the parking lot, a bootleg of the Brendan Byrne Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm sure you played there. Was David Lee Roth and Cinderella in 1986 on Dave's birthday. And you know what, Michael? If I really pull my gut in, I can squeeze into that shirt still.
Man, you mentioned Dave. Dave, I'll go to the grave fighting for Dave. It bums me out when I see all the negative comments about him online. People just being brutal about his voice and the way he acts and stuff. And I mean, Dave is legendary and such an instrumental part of Van Halen. I've gone on record to say I don't think they would have been the band they are without Dave. Obviously, Eddie gets most of the credit, as he should, but Dave is a big part of that equation and integral in helping to take Van Halen to the top. His personality, persona, his image, his character, his voice, his lyrics, you name it. So I love David Lee Roth, man. I always wave that flag for him.
Well, we do too. I was able to catch Dave in Atlantic City back in August at the end of the summer. You know what, Michael? His show was fantastic. He's not singing any better, any worse than he was 10, 15, 20 years ago. He's a showman. He's up there. You're getting the Van Halen catalog. And then he brings out this great band, and he's got this amazing background group of 4 male singers bringing it. It's a show. We love Dave.
I saw it. We played, I forget where we were. And actually, no, I'm sorry. I saw it online. We almost performed with him and saw it live, but I saw it online and I've watched lots of footage of that very band. Wow. I don't know what they're doing, but they're really capturing that energy, which is what Van Halen was all about. There was this explosive energy. You can't bottle it. You can't can it. It's like, wow. And those guys are capturing that, man. They're coming real close to that original late 70s Van Halen.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm glad you got to check it out, too. So, hey, Michael, I want to get into the new album. Again, congratulations on The Greatest Gift of All. I've spun it a bunch of times. It's really good. I would say you and I have something in common is I think we're both men of faith, right? I'm a Catholic, a practicing Catholic. I go to church. My kids were baptized. They've gotten the sacraments. I've got married in the physical church. I still go to church sometimes, but, one thing that drives me crazy, I live in northern New Jersey, is how commercialized things have become around Christmas. The TV stores and TV commercials, the stores, everything's in the stores before Christmas and on TV. And where I live, it's a very Italian American town, and everybody pays thousands of dollars to get these lights put up in their houses that look perfect, right out
Yeah.
of like a Hallmark commercial. And I say, you're losing all the fun of the experience of doing things with your family because life is imperfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. This is what God teaches you, right?
Yeah.
So, Michael, one of the things you've always emphasized, both in your music and your message, is keeping Christ at the center of everything. I think with this new album, and the question becomes is, how important was it for you to remind all of us that Christmas is really about Jesus and faith and less about the commercial side, including Santa shopping and the commercial side of sales?
Yeah, and I mean all that's fine. It's not to be a party pooper and rain on people's parades, and say, hey, you can't go out and get caught up in that. You go have fun and go do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy. But you and it controls you and it puts you in debt that you're paying off for the next 10 years. That's not good. That is not good at all. We got to come back and continue to stay on track with the true meaning of Christmas. We are celebrating the birth of Christ. That's what Christmas is. Yes, people say it's pagan. Yes, people say he wasn't really born on the 25th. Of course, we all know that. But we're celebrating the birth of Christ by celebrating Christmas. That's what it is. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's celebrate the birth of Christ. Spread, godly love to one another. Do something for somebody. It's not about going out and buying them a $100,000 BMW. I get a kick out of those commercials with the Beamer, with the bow on it. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Wow. That's not what it's about. And it's kind of sad and sick in some ways that we've become that. It's so materialistic, and we're all guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am.
Sure, we are. As we bring children into the world, this is what they expect. I have young kids at home, the teenagers. I have an 11-year-old daughter. That's all they know, and it's not their fault.
No, they're taught that. We're taught that. We're all sponges and we absorb it, and then we go on and we basically give that for the rest of our lives. And it's hard to break that mold. But man, we need to. We really need to. And just this Christmas, our album is about just focusing on Christ, the reason for the season, as the song says. And that he is the reason for this season. And it'd be nice if we could stretch that out and make it a daily thing all year long. That would be really cool.
That's always the idea behind it is, right? You put your best foot forward during the season, you start your new year, and you're off to a good foot. But Michael, on the album, you have, I think it's 10 tracks it is, and it's a nice, 50-50 split between traditional holiday songs and then new ones. Well, so going into, let's say, the classics, right? You picked Go Tell It on the Mountain. That's always a favorite of mine in church. How do you not love that song? Little Drummer Boy. Highlights, I think, for you singing are Silent Night and Joy to the World. But like, what was your take on reinterpreting these classics?
Well, just being honest, most of those classic songs I've been performing. I do an annual Christmas show every year in Plymouth at a place called The Spire. I'm doing it this year on the 13th of December. Anyone wants to come? A few tickets left, not many. But anyway, I've been doing those songs very similar to those arrangements. So I figured, let's just kind of not try to fix what ain't broken. STRYPER performed A Little Drummer Boy at the Ringing of the Bell in New York City with Billy Ray Cyrus and Twisted Sister, and we did that version. So we just kind of stuck to what we know. And I wanted to keep it 5 and 5, 50-50 split, traditional versus original. And I wanted to do Silent Night. That's the most, probably the biggest curveball of the batch that people might not expect from STRYPER. When you think STRYPER, you're going to think gunk, gunk, chuggy guitars and pounding drums. That doesn't have guitars or drums. But that's what I like about it. It's kind of refreshing and unique. And I'm really pleased with the fact that we got to finally do a Christmas album. After 40 years of talking about it, it's finally here. It's reality. Thank God. And I hope the fans love it.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, before you get off to this point, because I want to talk about a few of the new songs, I visited Plymouth, Massachusetts a couple years ago with my family. We went to see The Rock. And I remember going up into the town. You got to walk up this big hill, and I remember there's a little theater there. Is that the place you're referring to that you're playing?
Well, it might be. The place that I play is called the Spire, and it's one of the oldest churches in the area.
Okay.
It's a really high steeple, right? And it's right downtown. So it might be the place you're referring to, but it is now. Okay. It's now a little auditorium theater, holds about 250 people, I think. And I do a show there every year. This is our 9th annual show. 9 years. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man. So a few comments on the original songs. When you get past the traditional songs, then you hear STRYPER in 2025, melody, dark riffs, and heavy stuff. And they're really, really good songs on their own. But I think of songs like Still the Light and On This Holy Night. And it goes back to your original point, Michael. Like, you mentioned some things about like the half-empty midnight mass and the ploy for market schemes on one of the songs, yet in Still the Light, there's a sense of optimism there, right? That Jesus is always going to be with us. So maybe talk a little bit about those songs.
Well, I mean, it's important for me as a writer to talk about the things people may not want to talk about. The negative stuff, the dark stuff, the stuff that's not so positive. And we all face these situations. I've got thoughts in my head. I've gone through bad times. And I think that makes us stronger. And it was important for me to have a song like On This Holy Night. It's definitely a little on the dark side, musically and lyrically. And I think that's okay. It challenges us. And I think it's very true with what it says. We kind of have made Christmas a marketing scheme, and it's true. But then again, it's important to also come full circle and say, yeah, but there's hope. There's hope. No matter how dark it gets or how low we get, there's always hope. And that hope is in Christ. That's what I believe. Mm-hmm. Now, some people laugh at that and mock that and say, what an idiot. He believes in the genie in the sky. I've heard all these comments. Mm-hmm. That's fine, whatever. But you know what? Someday we will all have to face our maker. And mm-hmm. That's the reality that we don't think of because we're caught up in this world. We're of this world, right? Mm-hmm. Then people say, oh, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. Well, we are of the world because we're sinners. And we go out there every day and we get caught up and sucked up and consumed by it. But someday we're all going to, die and we're going to meet our maker. And, I hope everyone figures it out before that time. I have decided to devote my life to that. Call me a weirdo. If that's what you guys want to call me, that's okay. I know not you, but people out there.
Listen, my 88 and a half-year-old father, he's at the back end of his life. He's like every other person. He's got health issues, but he always gives me guidance. And he says, hey, Walt, when all else fails and, life is tough for everybody. We all got issues. He goes, you pray. He goes, just pray. Pray to your maker. Pray to your God. Pray to your mother in the heavens because that's all we got.
Exactly. And when we're gone, we're gone. I mean, we step into eternity and we go somewhere else. Whether you want to believe that or not. We do, and we will. And man, I want to go to heaven. I want to go, and I certainly don't want to go to hell. There's not going to be a party in hell like some people sing about. That's wow. Talk about a misconception. Holy mackerel. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, Michael, the album is good, and I wish you the best of luck with it. So before we get into 2026, reason for the season, this one was written in 1985. Like, talk about this one. So you re-recorded it?
Yeah, I tell you what, the thing that I found challenging re-recording any STRYPER song nowadays is the fact that back in 85, I don't know if it was my pants or helium or what the deal was, but man, I could sing a lot higher. A lot easier. And it's very interesting. Obviously, my voice has changed somewhat, but singing these songs made me realize, like, man, I sang high, And we dropped the key a half step, and it's obviously has a different sound to it. My voice is different, a little deeper, a little grittier. But man, it was so much fun re-recording that song, and Winter Wonderland as well. Those are two re-records. And, you kind of roll the dice with that because people are so glued to the originals. But it's fun to re-record those because it shows who we are now as a band and what we sound like now as a band. So it's kind of an evolution, and I love it. We have evolved.
That's good to know. Well, we wish you the best of luck with this album. So moving into next year, what's in store for STRYPER? Touring, music, what do you got going on? Or for maybe outside of STRYPER, you personally?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'll tell you what, first and foremost, STRYPER's going in the studio right after Christmas. I head in on the 27th of December. And we start on a brand new studio album. I don't know the name of it yet. A lot of the lyrics aren't even finished, but it's going to be killer. It's a little different feel, a little more straight ahead, and you just have to see. But it's got a different vibe to it, and it's cool. And then I have a new solo album coming out in April, and that is called The Master Plan. And that is unlike anything I've ever done or STRYPER's ever done before. You need to be prepared for that when you hear it, because it's totally different. And man, I love it. I enjoy doing it. It's a piece of me that needed to come out, and it did. And I hope everyone else kind of catches the vision on that and enjoys it as well. And then Iconic, the band Iconic, is finally wrapping up a new album that'll be coming out next year as well. So there's a lot going on.
That's good, man. You're keeping the fans, the pipeline fill in your world. So this is good stuff, Michael. I'm sure we'll have you back on for promotion of one of these other ones. So, Michael, thank you for your time today. And I will tell you, wish you best of luck. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. So for more information on STRYPER, head over to stryper.com for all of their news, tour dates, and links to their socials. Mike, it was great to catch up with you again.
Great to talk to you as well, my friend. God bless everybody out there listening and watching. You guys have a beautiful Christmas and a very blessed Happy New Year. And we'll see you out on the road next year.